Namaste. Today in this video, we will talk about selfishness, selfless, and joy of giving. How these three qualities impact the mind. How do they give rise to thoughts in the mind? And how being selfless and how the joy of giving gives positive thought and happiness instead of giving negative thoughts. How selfishness gives negative thoughts. Probably we'll discuss this. So, what does the selfishness do? When we have selfish motives everywhere, we want everything for ourselves, then we are always trying to work towards it. Working towards something, some goal is different. But if we are looking only at from our own perspective that I need this, I want this, it should happen this way, then we are giving rise to expectations. And because we are selfish, we are always thinking, because selfishness is giving rise to a thought that I want this, I want this way. So your mind is constantly thinking, and it's getting it. It is that this thought is like a worry, because it's a worrisome thought that I want this for myself. It should not go to somebody else. You're looking at your own personal benefit, or looking at a material benefit. You can be selfish if you are loving God. You can be selfish if you're trying to find your own flaws. You're trying to work on your own. That selfishness is good. It's for your own evolution. It's for your own development. But if you are selfish materialistically, then you are trying to acquire things. You're trying to acquire things. You're trying to acquire fame. The thing, what you're trying to acquire can be physical and can also be like something like fame. You want your own acceptance. You want your identity, which you have created, to be accepted. So these are kind of various selfish motives. So when you want your identity, which you are trying to create, to be accepted because you feel that people should accept you, then you are successful. So to be successful, to be accepted, for that you're trying to create an identity. Now that identity is created by acquiring different things, like you should live in a house in a certain place, and you should have a certain car, or you should be known to certain people when you go somewhere. So and so should come and stand near you, or you should stand near someone, or you should be photographed with someone. When you're getting photographed with people, you are actually creating an identity that I am so and so, I am so and so, I am superior to you. So these are all selfish motives. So with so many selfish motives, various selfish motives, which I've said, fame and money, and I want to acquire money, acquire material possessions, you're constantly working towards it, trying to make it happen. You're trying to forcefully make it happen. You are pretty much, at it, that somehow should happen. So you start manipulating. When you start manipulating, you're constantly calculating and thinking, and then there are multiple expectations created out of this selfishness. And with multiple expectation created out of this selfishness, you are trying to manipulate everything. All these expectations which you want to have happen, you are mentally, always calculating how to make it happen. And then you kind of always strategizing that what should I do, how should I do, when should I do. So your mind is filled with too many thoughts. To make one thing happen, you are thinking over time, over and over again. And with so many things which you want to make it happen, your mind is not at peace. It's always overworked. You're constantly dissipating your energy. You're constantly living in the future. You're also looking at the past, because some things didn't happen. So now you're also worried that it may not happen, because in past it didn't happen. So you have also some more negativity filled, which you picked up from the past. So with that also added in, it's adding fuel to the fire. So it's making your worries even more intense. So you are more worried that how should that happen. So so you are not focusing on the key tasks, but you are focusing on materialistic acquisitions. So all this selfishness is basically giving rise to many negative thoughts. Now look at selflessness. When you do a work selflessly, you're not looking for any outcome. You're not. You have an intention to have a certain outcome which is selfless. If you look at every task we do in life, if it is selfless, it gives a joy of giving. There is an element of joy of giving in every action we do. If it is selfless, if it is selfless, we are not expecting anything out of it for our own self. So we have an intention that it should give a benefit to somebody, and then you believe in the destiny. You believe that it may happen this way or it may not happen this way. You're trying to give your best to make that happen. So when something when you are acquiring, being selfish, when you are constantly acquiring, you acquire, and because it is materialistic, it loses its charm after some time. You don't get that happiness. It does it really give happiness by acquiring something? It's so momentary, that happiness is not consistent. It's not constant. But this has to be experienced to feel it. When you give, when you give to somebody, when you do for someone, just feel that feeling, how it comes to you. You get that happiness. You do get that happiness of when you experience that joy of giving. You see somebody else happy, when you become a reason for somebody's happiness, when you become a catalyst to somebody's happiness, then the happiness is definitely beyond description. It has to be experienced. When you do for somebody else, when your actions are giving results which are meant for somebody else, and that is what gives back to you. So if you understand this joy of giving, that how uh, your effort to make somebody helps and gives back to you that happiness, then you start enjoying the task which you're doing. Because when you do a little deep analysis, you realize all the actions you are doing are actually primarily towards somebody else. Suppose you are working as a husband, you are earning, so you want to give you basic. If you keep your family first, not yourself, you'll start enjoying. Because when you go back home, you see happy faces. When you are with your family, they are happy, because you are able to fulfill their purpose. You are you are a catalyst to their purpose in life. Like you have a child, the child has to be given a good education. So if you are able to be a catalyst to provide that education, to certain comforts, certain security, those basic needs which a child has, then you feel happy that you're fulfilled. You feel fulfilled. You don't feel fulfilled if you are wearing great clothes. If you buy only for yourself, imagine only clothes. If you just buy for yourself, but if you deprive your family, and they will be not that happy, compared to when you give it to your family and you kind of can deprive yourself, but you will be much more happy because there is happiness in the family. Now if you look at a society also, if you how can you be happy if everybody else is unhappy in the society, and you are having everything, but the people around you are deprived, they don't have enough, the needs are not fulfilled, the basic needs are not fulfilled. So the environment you are living, the society you are living is not happy. How can you be happy? So isn't isn't your responsibility and a role towards the society, that what can you do, so that how can you share what you have, how can you create an equilibrium, how can you create a balance, so that the whole system is socially equal. There is social equality, there is a equality in terms of having or not having. There should not be imbalance. Imbalance in any form is not good. It creates a duality. So it's another form of duality, that imbalance. If things are balanced, everybody gets everything, everybody gets the basic stuff, and so there is a equality. It's like a balance and a equality also. So not everybody will have the same kind of emotion. If all are deprived equally, So nobody will go and cry to somebody because everybody is equally deprived. So all are in the same state now. So there is no imbalance. So basically, if you are if you are fulfilled, you are having everything, but others are not having everything. How can the environment be happy? So so when you work towards whatever task you do now, suppose you go apart from your house, you have some other responsibility. So 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 if you look at the various tasks you're doing, I'm talking about actions which have joy of giving. So actions is what the task you have. So suppose apart from your house, now you go to the office. In office you are actually, when you do a certain task properly, then the main objective for every task in your office is towards the company. The company is prospering, going to prosper. If the company is going to prosper, you will also prosper, you will also grow. If the company is going to grow, it will it will do well. The company will do well means grow means do well, and company does well means it is providing something to the customer, to the consumers. So if the company is doing well, actually the meaning of company doing well is that it is prospering means the consumers are also happy with what the company is giving. So if you do well, ultimately the objective, the product which company is giving or services, it's making the end receivers happy. They're happy with the service, they're happy with the product. It's like in a restaurant. You go to a restaurant, you get a good food, you go happy. When you are happy, even the cook is also happy because the cook cook will be definitely happy if he comes to know the people like his food. So when people, like in a school, if the teachers are good, the everybody comes to know the teacher is good, and the students are happy, parents are happy, and then teacher comes to know that students are happy, parents are happy, results are good. So the teacher fulfilled. Teacher will not feel happy if the salary is just the salary is more, or teacher is enjoying not doing anything. That's not the reason to be happy. But if just imagine if the teacher is passionately doing and focused on teaching the students well, so the what will be the outcome? The outcome will be maybe the teacher has to work a little hard, but it's okay. But imagine when the feedback comes, when the teacher sees the children happy and satisfied and content with the teaching, and then the parents. So the teacher also comes to know that whatever the teacher is doing, it's going in the right direction. So compared to not doing something, trying to do something else, you have been hired to do something in a given time frame, but you're doing something else for your own self, which may be futile, of no value. But if you do it for your students, when you see the outcome, then the joy of giving comes to you. So if you can get rid of this selfishness and understand this selfless work and the joy of giving in each action, then your mind will be able to get rid of all negative thoughts coming out of selfishness. It will only have positive thoughts. Your mind will change the direction. The direction your mind will think will change towards selflessness, joy of giving. So you imagine you want to do for somebody and you have that kind of thought. It makes you emotionally strong that you want to give. It makes you feel good actually. But whenever you're thinking that you want to do for yourself, you feel unhappy. It doesn't give you happiness. Imagine you want many things. You have many desires, materialistic desires. So you are unhappy then because most of them have to be fulfilled in some way, sometime, or may not get fulfilled. So you are, but if you don't have any desires, you only look for your basic needs, but you don't have too many materialistic desires. And then come to the next side where you are actually thinking of fulfilling others' needs. Because if you look relatively, there are many people who have much less than what you have. So if you can do something to change the environment, change the society around you by your contribution, and if you can think like that, that will give you more happiness than thinking about getting things for your own self. Because somehow everybody gets food, nobody goes hungry. I mean, generally, thankfully, 99% or 98, 95% people are actually in that kind of category who do get food every day. They've not gone without eating food, maybe sometimes less, sometimes not such great food, but basic food is there. Basic, what else you need more than basic food? You don't need some rich food every day. You can't eat it also. So the basics are always met. And in this virus, in this 3 months of lockdown, I think people were living on this basics only. And when this 3 month thing is opened up, suddenly you realize what you were running after was all waste. So those are all selfish, kind of impulsive thoughts which suddenly come, your mind runs havoc, crazy, and you fall for it, and then you go running, and then it just goes endlessly. But then come inside and see what is actually needed. While sitting inside in the lockdown, we were all thinking about how the world is going, what's going wrong with the world. We had time to introspect actually. We don't introspect that. So we are thinking selflessly when we are thinking like this, what's going wrong with the world? What should happen? What is the right thing? We are introspecting. So this kind of introspection is required to, uh, you know, discriminate between selfishness and how the selfishness gives rise to negative thoughts and selfless actions and the joy of giving. You have to experience joy of giving. If you don't do it, if you're extremely selfish, you will never give, and you will never get that happiness from joy of giving. Not everybody gets the happiness from joy of giving. Joy of giving can be, it's not just money, your time to someone, you converse with someone, give somebody moral support, spend some time with someone. It can be in many ways. I mean, I can't tell everything, but you can, whatever skills, potential you have, resource, identify that and see what can be just given to somebody else to help. It need not be money always. Money does make a difference in this world, because we all are, you know, made our life around money only. That's why. Otherwise, money is actually not so much needed. We have all run away from the rural areas and come to urban areas, and we become more dependent. We become parasites to the system. So we are like totally dependent. We are a consumer. We are not a producer. So if we are a consumer, the bigger the consumer, more dependent we are. So that's why the money has become so important. Otherwise, money doesn't have so much importance. For basic needs, we don't have to run after so much of materialism. And that is how we become selfish. And that's why we're losing happiness. And that's why we're getting negative thoughts. We are all pounded with worries arising out of selfishness itself. Just one quality. There are so many qualities. If they are tuned toward the negative side, they give rise to negative thoughts. So look at the positives of each quality in human being. And that's all is humanity. If you tune yourself towards positive qualities of a human being, and the humanity is restored. The human being is restored to its true self. That is what is self, the true self. I think it's a very random talk, but if you can understand what I'm trying to say about joy of giving and selfless work, you'll understand how these trigger positive thoughts and how selfishness triggers negative thoughts. And when you are able to get rid of negative thoughts, the mind becomes calm and happy, and it stops running, the mind stops running, and then you can actually meditate and then go to higher consciousness and have more stronger intuitions. Thank you.